Hello and welcome to another episode of Project 2JZ28. Today, dedicated some light upgrades and fixtures. One of the previous episodes we went to a car show. Well, it was a little foggy at the beginning of that car show, and I've got some aftermarket fog lights in the car. And I noticed when I had them on that had one out. One worky, one no worky. So unfortunately these fog lights are actually discontinued now. I can't just go buy new lamps, but the only thing I need is a bulb. The unfortunate thing is, because that's discontinued, so is the bulb. I reached out to Pia, who's the manufacturer, and they said that these should be a direct replacement. They're not the amber, which is a little bit of a bummer. I've got bright whites and I've got amber. The amber is kind of nice when you're in fog because it cuts through it a little bit better. But if they don't make them, they don't make them. So I'm going to be upgrading to a different bulb there. And then also, I've got some aftermarket HID headlights for the low beams. You can hear them kind of whining there. But the high beams, I've still got factory. So I'm going to replace the high beams with some LEDs. Now, some of you probably know some people with HIDs, and you probably hate people like me because without a housed lens, they do scatter the light everywhere. So I try to aim them down as best I can. I've not really got brighted too much, and I have had these things for years, so it's not god-awful atrocious. We'll get started here shortly. One bad thing with the fog lights, unfortunately there's no room to really take the assembly apart here as is, and I do have to remove the whole front bumper to get to it. So it's a little bit more labor involved just to change a stupid light bulb, but it is what it is. So we'll get started and get working on things. Fog light opened up, and we're going to be taking out this guy, replacing with one of these. So hopefully they didn't lie to me and it fits in there fine. Otherwise, all this is for nothing. Oh, good old people at Pia. Sure enough, there is no way this bulb is a direct replacement. This is a whole assembly. First off. Second off, you can't just pull this bulb out and put that one in. It does not direct replace. So it's left me in getting a new replacement for this guy. Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe something at the local parts store will have something replaceable. I'm guessing I probably won't be that lucky, and I'll end up having to put all this back together all to take it back apart again when I can somehow find a replacement.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Back from the local parts store. Only thing I could find is just an H3 Basic. I think it will work. I don't know if it's really going to be better or not. Here's the thing. This is also an H3 bulb over here. These are super white, and they are extremely bright, even though it has a bluish tint there. I don't necessarily want two things of the same, because I can turn these on and then switch them, and then these guys are on. So I was hoping to get something a little bit different for these, just to give me some kind of variance between the lights. I'm going to try this just because it was pretty cheap and available locally for a few bucks. If it works, I may use it. I ordered some LED replacement H3s. So if they fit in their housing, I don't know if they will or not. They were a little bit more money, but I'm basically going to just pick whichever I like best. Unfortunately for me, I had to order that via interwebs to get here. So I'm going to have to wait for those to arrive to put them in. For you people, it won't make any difference because I'm just going to roll the video into that. So anyway, for now, I'm going to replace this bulb and hopefully it comes out all right. Okay, the fog light assembly itself is back together and back in the car. Now we'll see if I don't pop something or doesn't blow up real quick.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Well, that doesn't sound good, does it? Let's turn that on. Okay, so something's not agreeing with it. I'm not sure what. Doesn't like that, whatever it was. Okay. Time to look at things further. How a simple fog light bulb does this is beyond me. Perhaps this is entering in the territory of electrical stuff and I shouldn't be messing with it. But I thought it's simple. It's a light bulb. Literally, my whole electrical system seems to be tripping out now. Hopefully, I didn't somehow screw something up by replacing a light bulb wrong. But, so bear with me a moment. You turn on the fog lights. Okay. No power to the system. And everything seems to be okay. I just got the parking lights on. No problem. If I turn the actual fog lights on, power them up, I get a crazy noise. Not sure what it is. My high beams come on for some reason. High beams. Granted, I don't have the actual lights on. If I actually turn the lights on, now I get a light on that side, not this side. I have no idea what's going on. Turn the fog lights off, and now I've got this guy in strobe condition and this guy on, with the high beams on some reason. I don't have the high beams on, but according to this I do. So freaking weird. So I'm not really sure what the deal is. At this point, it's not god-awful that important to me. I'm just gonna pull that H3 bulb back out. Pray to God that everything goes back to normal, just the normal lights. I didn't want to go down this much of a rabbit hole when I started all this mess. And if I've got to pull those out, that's fine. I'll leave it just dead. My goodness, it's just all kinds of weird. I don't know. I'll see what pulling the bulb does. Well, I still don't understand. I don't have a strong electrical sense, so that is my weak part, and I'll openly admit that. So I've checked relays, I've checked fuses, nothing's blown. Everything seems to be good there. Really weird, I hooked the old bulb that wasn't working before back up. Now it's working kind of, but everything's still all kinds of funky. It makes me think that something somehow is grounding itself over here, or something that I did was off. And I don't know why it was out before, everything else is working fine, and all of a sudden now everything's kind of funky. And it doesn't make any sense to me. I guess I will have to phone a friend and ask for some help via Blake, and we'll try and go from there. All all right, I should have got this on tape. I just bring it over to Blake's, and literally all he had to do was, I guess, just be present and touch it, because literally now everything is working as advertised. I don't understand. I don't understand at all.
Yeah, I know what's wrong.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Easy fix. At least I think I know what's wrong.
Okay. It was making a weird noise too. It's like a high pitch.
Yeah. It's pretty tough. It is. Da, 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 da.
Is there a ground that's loose or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, good God, that's really, really simple.
Yeah, here. I think that the lower. There's a bolt on the bottom of this that's loose. So probably as you drove it,
Grounded itself again?
yeah, that
Okay.
bolt, yeah, this bolt down here was loose.
Okay. Man. See? This is why Blake is smart and I am not. Well, now that the ground is fixed, the ground being the problem, we'll take a look at the other issues. First going to be likely the output shaft seal. Everything good?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Let's check. Car falling off a lift, they just don't really want to be in one.
Yeah, that, turns out that'd be bad. Well, I guess it's still leaking. So went down there and we got some fresh residue, even though I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, so it was probably minor enough that anything that's fallen off is,
It's just trailing.
yeah.
I gotcha. Drive shaft out. Dripping a wee bit out the back here. Well, I missed a little bit of the output shaft pulling, but it's out. Yeah, it was in there pretty tight.
Yeah, they are. That's just kind of how they go. All right, I'll clean up this, and we didn't leak enough fluid to be of any concern. So
Oh, okay.
then this just goes right.
Well, we've got the output shaft seal replaced, and we have drive shaft back in. When replacing this myself, I had frayed this line. I don't know if you can see it for the power steering coming back. I thought it was something I'd have to replace. Blake saying, no, don't worry about it. It really is nothing other
It's
than
just
cosmetical.
cosmetic, yeah.
So it's fine as it is. So we're going to leave it because it's not leaking.
It's
And it
pain,
works.
Pain in the ass to remove it and refill it.
It's kind of
pain in
a,
the ass.
it is. I won't lie.
No, I've done that. And I did it like 3
I
times.
brought stuff to change it, but if it's fine, there's no reason. Leave it.
Yeah, don't break the.
I'm all about easy. Well, thanks, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Easy stuff.
Yeah. Now that we've got the lights figured out as far as the fog lights go on the Camaro, and since it was that ground, and we've got the miscellaneous stuff Blake helped us out with, now I want to finish up this episode with one more upgrade. We've got fog lights are working, that's great. I've got my HIDs on the low beams, but the high beams are still the factory high beams. And anybody with a 4th gen F-body knows that the factory lights that are halogens, well, just honestly, they suck. They're not that bright. They don't do anything as far as lighting up the road, especially when you need them. You can see how much brighter my low beams are than the high beams. So I'm going to change out the high beams today. There's a modification you can do that I'll walk everybody through here real quickly on how to swap those out for LEDs. So that's what we're going to do. Once you've got the headlight out, basically you want to heat this area up here. It's all put on by glue, which you can use either a torch or a heat gun. Kind of use both. This one wasn't very cooperative. I ended up being able to pull the actual light out before this guy. This guy was on here a little more aggressively, but finally it came off, and then you're left with this piece basically. You can go ahead and trim all that glue off with a razor blade. It's fairly simple, it does come off. Once you've got both headlight housings with the old bulbs removed and all cleaned up, you want it clean because you're going to use RTV to seal them. On its own, I'm using these specific HID headlights. You can use many different ones that'll fit. These ones came with an O-ring that if you just put it in, they kind of just loosely fit in there. So if you pull that O-ring and replace it with an A115 right there, it's a little bit thicker, and if you put it in here, it seals a lot better and it's tight. That with a little bit of RTV should seal it up and make it waterproof in case, you know, obviously not everybody has the luxury of not ever driving their car in moisture. I try to, but every once in a while everybody gets caught out on it every once in a while, and you want to make sure you don't get any moisture inside the headlight, and you want it all sealed up. It's always a good idea to test things out before you put everything back together. Got this new one plugged in here. I'll put it in the housing. Jeez. Well, that is a bit brighter than my HID. I may end up swapping these out or selling those instead. So you can kind of see the beam pattern that you like. I think. You twist it accordingly, but I think right there is pretty good. So I'm going to try and install them. So once you got everything where you like, basically you're going to RTV everything and then let everything dry. Once you've got RTV, I put it around the lip, and then once I sealed them, I kind of put it around the outside just to make sure they were sealed. I'm just going to use zip ties to hold them in place, and then I'm going to leave them for a secure dry time. While I had everything apart, I noticed these things are flaking pretty bad. I think that's pretty standard on most people, so I kind of sanded them down best I could, made them loose, and I'm just spray painting them. Might as well, since it's off. Easy fix to make it look a little better. Anytime you're working on something, if you can just take a few extra moments to make it a little better, it makes the car better as a whole. And, you know, that's what we're all trying to do here, right?
The next day.
We've got all headlights back, sealed up, installed, ready to go. Everything seems to fit. We'll see how it works. And sure enough, all of them are bright. I actually think that, well, it's hard to say, but these may be brighter than these guys. Either way, it's going to be a great improvement over what I had before. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.